Hey, it's Holly D, and you're listening to That Med Kid. Walking in a flurry wearing a casual white button-down loosely tucked in black pants, Kun Abhisit Vejjajiva comfortably reclines in the chair with his hands cradled. Politician, former 27th Prime Minister of Thailand, and current leader of the Democrat Party of Thailand, I sawadika not once, but twice. The rather delightful coincidence of interviewing him on Nelson Mandela International Day, we discuss his unquestionable determination to do better for the people of Thailand, his inspiring resilience in both values and routine, and even his favorite superhero. Enjoy. Thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to me today. So you've been rather quiet on the Thai media in the past couple years, and I just wanted to know, what have you been up to?
Well, there's been a coup d'etat, and political parties have been banned from engaging in political activities. So that's the main reason why I think there has not been much media reports about what we do, what I do. But I haven't really stopped working. I travel up and down the country, meet various groups of people, learn about their problems, think about how we could solve those problems for them.
It's great to hear. So I know that you were previously and very bravely empowered during such an ambiguous, difficult political landscape through the whole economic calamity of Thailand. And sitting opposite me today is this highly experienced, seasoned politician and a very self-confident man. But I just wanted to know, if we were to rewind back many years ago, would the same ambition be seen in that child of Kun Abhisit?
Well, interestingly enough, I became interested in politics at a very early age. That's mainly due to the events of 1973, when there was a student uprising, if you like. And I was, at the time, 9 years old and didn't really understand what was going on. But the image of maybe hundreds and thousands of people on the streets demanding democracy, demanding a constitution, that eventually became successful, was an inspiration. And so I became interested and I tried to learn more about politics. 2 years after that, I experienced general elections, so I followed the campaigns. I began listening to debates in Parliament, and decided that this was something I wanted to do. Obviously, that many years ago, I probably couldn't have foreseen all the things that had been happening politically and also personally, my personal involvement in politics. For instance, my idea when I decided to join politics and join the Democrat Party was that our democracy has already matured, that there would be stability, that politics, I guess, as a career path would be gradual. But the reality turned out rather differently. So I rapidly became more and more active and had higher positions and responsibilities than what I would have anticipated long ago. And the last 2 decades, where Thailand has experienced political turmoil, was clearly something that I doubt anybody thought would be the case only maybe 20-something years back. So there's been up and down, there's been a great deal of unpredictability in what's been happening in politics and to me personally. But my determination remains the same. As long as I have the will and the strength, I will do what I can to help affect changes that I think the country needs.
I think that is something that everybody really appreciates about you, is that you're very well known for your practice of clean politics and you have very good governance and a very high standard of probity and transparency. And speaking of responsibilities and unpredictability, is this a duty you feel you have for Thailand, that you had a responsibility to return to do something for the country's interest?
I always say, among colleagues and told by, my mentor and seniors that as a politician in a democracy, you're a volunteer. If you cannot handle the pressure, you cannot handle the problems around you, you shouldn't be here. Since you volunteer, you have to do your best. So you could call it a duty if you like, but certainly we feel that if we're in politics, there has to be a good reason why we're here, and that reason should be related to the public interest. So what keeps me going is my wish to see Thailand go through a transformation where we move towards a stable democracy, where our economy is prosperous but also prosperous for all, reduce the degree of inequality that we see right now, and that there is security, if you like, for everybody in the country, a good social welfare system that makes sure that they can face the uncertainties in life.
So you talked about how this is what really keeps you going and motivated and passionate. How about your family? Are they also a very big driving force?
Well, they've been very supportive. I'm sure deep down, if you ask them, their preference would probably not having me in politics, because it can take an unreasonable toll on them as well, because as I said, I volunteered.
Right.
They didn't, but they also are under the same kind of scrutiny, and there's a loss of privacy, obviously, when we go around together and so on. So I very much appreciate their support, and I think that support is based on our shared belief that everybody should be able to pursue his or her own passions and ambitions. So, for instance, my daughter is an artist. Neither myself nor my wife is familiar with the artistic world and what it involves. But if that's what she wants to do, we support her. My wife actually was educated and trained as a dentist, discovered that wasn't her passion. She then decided to do a master's and doctorate degree in mathematics, which is her passion. Now she's a lecturer in mathematics. So we all support each other in what we think we want to do with our lives.
And as for your parents, I believe they are also medical professionals.
That's right.
So I was just wondering, growing up...
Well, there's a great deal of expectation in the family that we carry on the tradition of being doctors. The name Vejjajiva actually means of medical profession.
Right.
But I broke the tradition, certainly. But my parents, certainly my father was very supportive when he learned that I was very passionate about politics.
And I think it's quite safe to say that in both the practice of medicine and in law politics, it is a very big ethical minefield. And I was just wondering, perhaps when you were growing up in a somewhat slightly more medical household, I suppose,
Right.
has that affected the ethics that you kind of conduct your life in every day?
Well, I observed my parents when they were doctors. Very hard-working profession, a profession where you need to care for people and often dealing with matters of life and death. So you can imagine all the challenges that come with the profession. And I guess not just in that profession, but for me, in all careers, the issue of ethics is always important. Whether you're a doctor, whether you're a journalist, whether you're a politician, competition, or even just as a person, the issue of ethics is very important. I think it's what will determine the quality of lives and of society as well. When you have a circle of people with high ethical standards, you have trust, and you're able to do so many things. When that standard breaks down, when trust breaks down, you get caught into all kinds of messy situations, of conflicts, of unfair competition, of exploitation, and so on.
So what values do you uphold the most then?
Well, honesty, sincerity, I think are the most important things, especially in terms of working with people and working for the public interest. But by themselves, obviously, they are not enough. You also have to create, if you like, certain values that will govern the way you work. So, being hardworking is also important. The eagerness to learn new things is important. Keeping up with the changes that are happening, which are now, taking place at an even more rapid pace.
So from what you're doing today and all the activities you partake in, do you worry about any unintended consequences that come out of what you're trying to accomplish?
Well, the consequences and the outcome of what you do in your work is a combination of what you do and other factors which you cannot control. You have to be held responsible for what you do. You also have to be responsible for the outcome. But you just have to be wise about how you react to unintended consequences, or when there are instances of, say, failure. It's no good just lamenting what could have been or what you didn't achieve if that is due to factors you cannot control. But clearly, if there's something that you've done and you could have improved, you should take that as a lesson. And the way I see it is, you should look forward rather than look back. You learn from it and you look forward to improving yourself and not making the same mistakes.
Speaking of improvement and learning from your mistakes, for you, what experience has been the steepest learning curve?
That's a tough one because I think I've been through quite a lot.
Yes.
I think even for the country as a whole, we are still trying to make sense of what's happened over the last 2 decades in Thai politics. And I'm not even sure that we've learned the same or the right lessons. But you should step back, I do, and feel that yes, things could have been done differently. But it takes all sides to come together and find a way out.
So I guess perhaps right now in the Thai economy and the society, perhaps the old model of success is saturated, or perhaps you might argue differently. But to make reforms, you need to also engage people. And I just wanted to ask, what do you think you have in common with the people of Thailand?
Well, I think what I have common with the people of Thailand is that we feel we deserve better. There's so many fundamental strengths that we have as a people, as a society, as a country. I think the recent episode of the rescue of the boys in the cave demonstrate to the world that when Thai people come together, when Thai people work with other people, with the determination to do something good, we can get things done. We can achieve success, even under very difficult circumstances. But turning back to to our economy, turning back to our politics. Clearly, the politics has failed the people. Clearly, the economy is not where it should be. And so, I think I have this feeling, and I think I share this with the rest of the Thai people, that it's time for us to do things differently, and really reach our full potential.
Speaking of potential, it is graduation season right now in the UK, and I'm just wondering...
Congratulations to all the graduates.
I was just wondering, what kind of goals and dreams did you have for your life when you graduated from university yourself?
Well, as I said, because I became very interested in politics and pretty much knew that I wanted to go into politics at a very young age. By the time I completed my first degree, which was in philosophy, politics, and economics, almost a standard course for professional politicians in the UK, I was really looking forward to come back to Thailand and run for a seat in Parliament. But number one, I was too young. Number two, I needed more experience. So, I came back and did some work with the Democrat Party, but also went into to Thammasat University to teach first. My second degree also was in economics in Oxford. And again, that's because I felt that the economy is what is going to be the most important things as far as the political process is concerned. It's there to serve, to get us a better economy for all. I also did a course in law at Prime University, also because I knew that it was important to know Thai laws if you wanted to get into politics. So I guess, my mind was made up long ago, long before graduation, and I was just looking forward to go into a career that I've always wanted to go into.
So you've known for a really long time, like you said. So I'm quite curious to know, what were you like as a child?
You should ask my friends.
Oh.
They
What
would
would
probably
they say
give a
about
fairer
you?
assessment. Well, I guess there are a number of things that might stand out. I was actually quite a shy person, very quiet. And I remember that even at university, when I ran to become president of the college, a number of friends were just puzzled why somebody who was quiet, who was rather shy, would want to do something like that. And something that I had to overcome, as I grew up, because it wouldn't be possible to go into a career like this if you weren't prepared to speak up or speak out. And as a child also, in terms of academically, I was much better at the sciences than the arts. I wasn't so keen on languages or even social studies, but when I became interested in politics, I had to sort of force myself to change on that. Other than that, well, I don't think there's particularly anything special.
Did you play any sports at all growing up?
Yes, I did. I played a lot of sports when I was certainly at school. Football, tennis, squash.
Wow.
So I still play football today.
Oh, okay.
I try anyway.
So who were you cheering for on Sunday? For the finals
of
the World Cup.
Oh, the World Cup. I was I wanted Messi to have a chance at the trophy, but he went home rather early.
Long gone.
Right. And I had a lot of sympathy for Croatia. I thought they played very neat football and very systematic, very hard-working. I was impressed that they had 3 matches of 2 hours where they fell behind and also came back and won. But it wasn't to be. I thought they were unlucky to have conceded that penalty. And that might have changed the game. But then you can't argue with the individual skills that the French scorers had. So that was a difference.
So you mentioned that.
But I like both teams. So
you like both anyway.
I like both teams.
So just either would have been okay.
So it was good well, not quite neutral, but because as I said, I had some sympathy for Croatia. But it was a good match to watch.
Yeah, it was exciting. It was riveting. Are you someone who's quite artistic in your personal life? Like, as in, do you like to listen to a lot of music?
Yes, music is very much part of my life. And that's, I guess, mainly due to the fact that when you were at boarding school, there really wasn't much that you could do, especially I was at Eton, and you had to spend a lot of time on your own. So music just became, something that is very much part of your life, and it's something you sort of take everywhere with you. So even today, when I get into a car, or before I go to sleep or whatever, I would listen to music. And I also can enjoy music while reading books and so on. So yeah, music is very, very much part of my life. And because I went abroad at the age of 11, so I would be listening to rock mainly.
Rock.
But I keep up with the musical trends.
Do you?
Even today, yes. So I listen to rap, listen to electronic music.
So you're very much into rock. Then is that your favorite genre?
Yeah, but now I guess rock and pop are rather flexible as a genre. So you can detect the differences between what was classified as rock in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and today. I mean, it sounds different. And I guess it's inevitable that rock and pop just absorb the trends, the new trends.
It's very interesting that you said you're able to listen to music while you read.
I have trouble concentrating if it's too quiet.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's the complete opposite for me.
Well.
Because I just feel like the words distract me from...
I think the silence is the most distracting thing.
Is it?
Yes, it is. I think silence is distracting because there's nothing there. So your mind sort of wanders everywhere. But when there's music, when there's something that sort of puts you in a certain frame, I guess it's the same with praying, isn't it?
True.
Praying and well, not meditation, but praying. But sometimes people pray. They will be speaking the words of the prayers, but their thoughts and their wishes are different.
That is true. So any favorite artists then out there right now?
Yeah, right now. Well, I listen to so much music, but I mean, there are some artists that I'm impressed with because they are able to live through the times and adapt their styles and so on. So the oldest of that, I guess, would be Neil Young, who even today has regular, perhaps excessive output for somebody who's been making music for 5-6 decades. But I go through all the decades and I have my artists that I like. Beatles and Stones from the 60s, the Eagles from the 70s, and then U2, R.E.M., Guns N' Roses, and so on. Today, I think there's a far greater variety. So I can listen to pop music, and Taylor Swift is very talented. I can listen to Jay-Z and Beyonce and so on.
You're much more in trend than I am.
I'm not so sure about that.
Oh, that's so interesting to hear, and it's so great to hear that you have music as something.
Because I like evolution of artists as well, and one of the greatest artists we lost was Prince, because I think he has always evolved in very interesting ways.
He really doesn't blend all the genres together.
Yes, that's right.
I'm glad that you have music as something in your life to keep you rooted. And just kind of going back a little bit to your responsibility and duties as a politician, doing good for the greater public. What is your philosophy in life right now, and what do you want your legacy to be?
I don't really think in terms of legacy. That's for other people to judge us. Obviously, with my intention to help be part of the changes that I would like to see Thailand go through, I hope I would be remembered as somebody who contributed positively to the changes and development of the country. But as I said, in terms of philosophy, I'm passionate about the work I do, and I want to do well for the people. So, I mentioned before, you always have to remind yourself what and why you are doing things. So, you try to do your best, you try to learn new things, and you try to make sure that you remain committed, passionate about it.
And on the days that you ever feel lost and you wake up without that passion commitment, what do you do to restart yourself in a way?
Another thing that I do is that, when I go home, I don't take my work and irritate my family by talking about my work. If I do the work quietly, I do it myself. I don't drag my family or other people into this. Sleep well. Always feel important that you have to have a good rest, so I don't suffer from being sleepless, worrying about this or that, because I feel that you prepare yourself and you solve problems. Now, some problems are going to remain unsolved, but worrying about it, becoming sleepless about it is not going to help you solve those problems. So that's the sort of attitude that I take. People are quite surprised because when I'm at work, I'm always very serious about things. But when it's finished, I think you have your private life back, and you do what you enjoy as well. I've always thought that the life I want to lead is one where there is purpose in the work that you do, and you do as well as you can. But at the same time, you should have a good family life.
And how are you able to maintain this work-life separation? Because is that quite difficult for you to do?
It's difficult for everybody. But I think it's a matter of priorities. And there's so much that you have to be prepared to say cut out and say, well, this is enough. I can't claim to say I've got the balance right, but I certainly try. So, for instance, any unnecessary or engagements in the evenings in particular, I will try to limit so I can spend time at home with my family.
And what do you like to do with your family? Do you have family movie nights or?
No, I think, for me, the greatest thing about family life is you're just around each other. I don't think there's a need to sort of organize activities, just being around each other,
Yeah.
one person can be watching television, one person can be reading, one person can be listening to music, but then conversations come up, whatever, and that's a natural way of spending family life, family time. I'm not a fan of people who say, the family gets together and sort of organize some kind of special activities together. That's not the way I see it.
I think that's really great to hear, because I think the best things do come out when they're unplanned. Well, now I just kind of want to ask you just speed round questions,
right?
Just to quick answers. So, favorite movie?
The Wall, Pink Floyd. Long ago, you wouldn't have been born.
Probably not.
Right.
Favorite book?
I read so much, but I don't really read much fiction. But I have too many books to have a favorite.
Okay. Most annoying thing that teenagers do these days?
Annoying things? No, they don't annoy me.
No?
No. I think it's natural for teenagers to do what they do. So
That's great to hear.
right. Annoying? Well, not annoying, but not necessarily teenagers. I guess photographing food when I want to just eat.
That's true. What is the last song that you downloaded?
Well, it's not new because I just downloaded the whatever anniversary of the Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses. That's a problem these days. New music is really old music also because they keep coming up with these 10th, 25th, 30th, 40th anniversary versions with demos and remixes.
That's true. Right. Favorite country? Thailand, of course.
But in terms of traveling and visiting, I would probably say France or Italy, and because my daughter studied in New York,
okay.
Actually grew to warm to New York City.
And is she gonna come back to Thailand?
She's already come back.
Oh, she's come back. Okay. Are you a night owl or an early bird?
Can't you be both?
Both?
Yeah, I sleep quite late and I get up quite early.
Wow.
I need about 6 hours at most.
6 hours at most.
I can manage with less.
Favorite superhero?
Batman.
Batman. Are you a Marvel or a DC fan?
Just the Batman that I like is because I think he's one of the more mysterious kind of character. I just like the sort of mood that has a bit of darkness with being a superhero. The others are too bright.
I think it was too bright.
The others are too bright in terms of color and light.
Ah, interesting. I think that fits in with the rock image too. Being more introverted, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. How about favorite food?
Favorite food? Steak, kai jiao, obviously.
And lastly, what is the favorite year of your life?
Year?
Yeah.
I hope that's to come.
And just the last question to wrap up. I know I'm just a 20-year-old person, but do you have any questions for me?
What do you want to do with your life?
Hopefully the same as you. Do something for the greater good.
Good. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Such a remarkably optimistic, simple man who lives in the present and utters such words of wisdom. Thank you so much for listening, and if you liked this, please subscribe for more episodes on Apple Podcasts, and if you're feeling especially generous today, I'd really appreciate it if you could write a quick review. You can also find everything plus more at thatmedkid.com. This has been That Med Kid. My name is Holly D. Stay kind, my friends.